This is new aerial video of a sixth fire breaking out Wednesday night, the Sunset Fire, based in the Hollywood Hills.
I'm sure we have all heard of the LA fires recently, and if you've been living under a rock, well, there has been a huge fire that's been happening in LA lately, and, is it coincidence? I don't know. I personally, my opinion, don't think so. And I'll tell you exactly why. Isn't it weird how the trees don't catch on fire despite being super close to whatever's getting caught on fire? Isn't it weird how the blue things don't catch on fire? This all seems way too direct. This seems more accurate. Fire should be able to burn wood no problem, even if it's close. I have personally felt the feeling of fire of a truck, let's say a solid 6 to 10 houses away, being super immense to the point where I think it was super hot. I thought I was like in a microwave. So when these things catch on fire, knowing that there's trees right next to it, then, well, wouldn't it make sense for it to burn? I don't know. You kind of got to give it a little bit of a critical think if you get what I mean. But yeah, let's go back to the LA fires. Despite the trees still being up, 7 months before this happened, the fire department budget was cut by around $17.6 million. Even water systems were running dry. So, isn't it quite odd?
There's no water. I can't save my house.
He tried his best, but the water literally stopped. Not one fire truck.
Today, I found actor Steve Guttenberg with a shovel, putting out hot spots on his neighbor's property. When I grabbed a hose to help, I discovered no water.
Well, there's no water. Steve, there's no water.
Was the water turned off recently, or is it just no pressure?
There's no water at all up here.
So what does Mel Gibson have to say about this?
Letting reserves go for one reason or another. They've been doing that a while. California has a lot of problems that sort of baffle the mind as far as why they do things. And then in the events like this, you sort of look, well, is it on purpose? Which, it's an insane thing to think. But one begins to ponder whether or not there is a purpose in mind. What could it be, I don't know. Do they want the state empty? I don't know.
Well, Mel, there's already talk, and we played a couple of sound bites of reimagining the way rebuilding occurs. And obviously there's a great need for high-density housing in California and across the country. That's a big push by the climate folks. And you're already hearing rumblings of that. In this case, like goodbye single-family homes, hello high-density housing.
Yeah. It's pretty scary, and it'll take decades to do that too. It's like even if it if it's a good idea, which I don't know if it is, but reminds me of the old cattle barons clearing people off the land, But I don't know. I can make all kinds of horrible theories up in my head, conspiracy theories and everything else, but it just seemed a little convenient that there was no water, and and that the wind conditions were right, and that there are people ready and willing and able to start fires. And are they commissioned to do so, or are they just acting on their own volition? I don't know. But they seem pretty well equipped, some of these people that they're catching.
Even other people have been deciding to say that they were the ones who started the fires. And by the way, what's up with the 2028 Smart City Plan? Could this be part of it? Could this be some sort of connection to what is going to come in 2028? Let's go back to the Maui days, shall we? Even while we're trying to go over the drones, or even looking at the drone footage around Maui, you can see that there's blue things and trees still up and running while buildings are burnt to complete ashes. The only thing I can think of that does not burn blue is direct energy weapons, otherwise known as D.E.Ws. But you don't really think the government would do this, do you? What else have they done? Let's look at what the Maui news reporter has to say and really pay attention to what she's trying to say. She's really trying to help people critically think, but just wait towards the middle of the video. She's pretty much bringing up something that relates to tech cities. So isn't it quite weird how when it comes down to tech cities, even LA is trying to become a tech city by 2028? Let's take a listen.
Welcome back to Common Sense, everybody. I'm Wendy Bell. It's stunning to monitor the media's lack of interest in the whole Maui story. I've been in this business for 30 years. I'm stunned, but I'm not surprised. The dots are connecting. And coincidence seems to be the story here, right? But the true story, the media knows, is not allowed to tell. But I can. Is it a coincidence that the Maui police chief is the same man who was in charge in Las Vegas during that massacre that killed 58 people? Is it a coincidence that the Maui property, owned by million and billionaires, wasn't touched by the flames while homes of the locals all burned? Was it a coincidence that the flames traveled across hundreds of feet of pavement and crossed a 4-lane highway with emergency shoulders to jump into the ocean and then burn all the boats? Was it a coincidence that the largest system of outdoor emergency sirens in the world never made a sound as the fire devoured Lahaina? Was it a coincidence that at the same time, very same time, all the water was turned off? Was it a coincidence that police were ordered to block off streets and to funnel all the cars trying to escape onto one road where that firestorm incinerated entire families? How about the coincidence that the governor of Hawaii, Josh Green, just weeks before that inferno, signed a pledge to the UN's 2030 Agenda of Sustainable Development, pledging to eliminate emissions? Weird. And think about this coincidence. That governor also signed an emergency proclamation on July 17th, 3 weeks before the fire, about housing of all things, and suspended 7 state statutes protecting historic preservation laws, removing all of the red tape when it comes to building infrastructure. Coincidentally, that emergency proclamation also suspends previous building laws and gives the governor some magic wand power to appoint a housing czar to rule on the island's redevelopment. Is it a coincidence that the government put up a black fence around Lahaina, or that the FAA grounded all drones from flying over the affected area? Is it a coincidence that since at least 2011, there have been plans to make Maui the first smart city run by 100% renewable energy, and that coincidentally, 2 of the 3 largest landowners on Maui are BlackRock and the U.S. government, and that both are part of the UN's agenda? It must be a coincidence then that the locals whose homes did not burn are now being evicted from their property. And of course, a total coincidence that all the fact checkers who are checking these facts, who say everything I just told you is just a coincidence, are also owned and run by BlackRock. Thank goodness none of these coincidences is connected. I'm Wendy Bell. I'll see you next time for more Common Sense.
To all the critical thinkers out there, I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Please like and follow, and for sure share this with a friend, share this with a family member. More people need to understand more about this. And yeah, I'm pretty much gonna give you guys a little short clip towards the end of what direct energy weapons are and how it is used. You guys enjoy the rest of the video, and take care. Stay conscious.
The Department of Defense spends about $1 billion annually developing directed energy weapons, such as high-energy lasers and high-powered microwaves. These weapons can disrupt or destroy their targets at the speed of light. For example, D.E.W has developed high-energy lasers that have successfully shot down drones, but speed isn't their only advantage. They're also less expensive per use than traditional weapons like guns and missiles. Despite those potential advantages, D.O.D. has had trouble getting these technologies out of the lab and into service. The Army has developed a detailed transition plan to support moving these weapons into the next stages of development. We recommended that the Navy and the Air Force develop similar plans.
technologies at the South Pole Station that people can't even consider that exist on this planet.
Like what?
Directed energy weapon systems is something that people need to get into their vocabulary fast. The ice cube neutrino detector is not simply a passive listening device as presented. It's the world's largest directed energy weapon system.